What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, a podcast that talks about comic books, movies, TV shows, and typically we feature a beer of the week. If this is your first time listening, thank you for joining us. Please stick around and subscribe, like, share, all of that good stuff. Follow us on social media at Hops Geek News. All of our podcasts are available just by searching Hops Geek News on every single platform, YouTube included. And then if you feel so inclined to support the show, patreon.com/hopsgeeknews is how you can do so. You can also find us weekly on the Nerd Initiative page where we give our comic book reviews from Marvel, DC, Image, Boom, IDW, Mad Cave, everybody and anyone. We're out there reviewing comic books from the best of the best creators out there right now. Find us every Wednesday. That's where we're at. And like I said, thanks for joining us. Today's episode is about the Doctor Who specials that recently came out. We're talking the 3 specials with David Tennant, and then, of course, the Christmas special with our brand new Doctor, Ncuti Gatwe. And we got a lot of exciting things to talk about. We always like to talk about what we're drinking first, what we've messed up on recently, maybe looked into. We got some good news for you. Haven't done that in a couple weeks. And then our main topic. I, however, I'm drinking water out of a Disney cup this week. I'm not doing dry January. However, I am scaling back a bit to.
Did you call it Damp Camp?
Yeah, I'm part of Camp Damp, where I'll drink occasionally and whatnot.
You're like a sprinkle January.
Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of chill this week, and probably I'll have a beer next week, most likely. But this week I'm just chilling. You know, nothing crazy, nothing exciting, just good old fashioned H2O. Lauren, what do you got drinking?
So I'm drinking a Calusa Brewing Zote. It's their like flagship IPA. And one of the reasons I picked it is because it's got like a pirate on the label. And in the Christmas special. Oh, yeah. This is one that they always have. So anytime I can get the beer from this brewery, it's always available. So we always grab it. So since the Christmas special, they're on like a pirate ship in the sky, those creepy little goblins.
That was a cool part. Yeah. I can't wait to talk about that.
And I got it in my Let's Get Wibbly Wobbly glass.
Oh, that's a cool glass.
What's really cool with Calusa, one of the things they started doing during COVID, which they kept, is you can order online and just go pick it up. And like, I rarely get over to the west coast of Florida and they don't really ever distribute. And so, but somebody on my mom's family lives over there and someone on Josh's family. So within the last few weeks, we've just put in online orders. And one day my mom picked it up. Last week, Josh's mom picked it up. And it's great because it's already paid for. It's already tipped, everything. Yeah. They're going there anyways because the beer's so good.
Yeah, Calusa's a really good brewery. I enjoy them, so that's always a really good.
They're fantastic, and they're one of Josh and I, both of our favorite. Nice. So that's one brewery that it's like, oh, I just spent $80 on beers. They'll be here next week, and he's like, okay, perfect. That's one place he's not like, how much? Not the one, but one of.
Speaking of beers, though, Megacon is in a month. As you know, I'm headed down there to the land of Orlando, where Megacon 2024 will be kicking off February 1st through the 4th. And something really exciting is we're looking to do a brewery meetup potentially. Even if you don't drink, come out, hang out. Hopefully we can meet some of especially Orlando people that listen to the show. I know we have some patrons from there, and then might be able to get to meet up with a couple exciting friends of the show that I don't want to spoil yet because we'll talk about it. You'll see it.
Jinx. We don't want to jinx it either.
There will be signs, aka you'll see pictures, and we'll be talking about it if it does happen. So that's something really exciting. We will be at Megacon, so come find us. We'll have stickers, all of that good stuff. We might have a couple panels. Don't know yet. Still waiting to hear back on that.
Last time we found out 2 weeks before. So
yeah, but my flight's booked. Just can't buy the passes because it's like I don't want to spend $300 on a pass if we end up getting them for free. So I guess
last time I got it for free after I bought it. So maybe that's what you have to do. You have to buy them. And then 2 days later, they'll tell you get approved for it. And here's 2 free 4-day tickets after I bought my daughter and I 4-day tickets.
So just buy somebody's pass and then we'll see what happens.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll be there. Anyways, what is it that we have messed up and or looked into? Actually, real quick, I want to do something real quick. I want to shout out our friend Maynard Brewer on Twitter. He's been listening to the show and something really cool. He was saying how he really enjoyed our 200th episode and he could tell that we, put a lot of passion into it. So I just want to shout him out, Rand. Thanks for listening. And words like that really kind of mean that we're doing something cool here. We did reach 200 episodes last. And so when people are like, hey, I really enjoyed the show, it's kind of always like, wait, people actually listen to what we have to say. And
right.
It feels good, man. It's always cool.
That is really nice because it's like, obviously this is a hobby that we enjoy doing and we're doing it for us, but we do put work into it.
Oh yeah.
So that's awesome.
It's always exciting. Yeah. So thanks to them. Then thanks to all of our patrons out there who do subscribe. But anyways, for realsies this time, what did we mess up on / look into last week?
So this is actually the first time we've recorded since we did the Elf episode, because we did Elf and we did the 200s all on the same night. Matt had costume changes, so that might be confusing if you watch this on YouTube, whereas I had the same hoodie on for 3 episodes. I've learned my lesson. I will have costume changes from here on out.
Look,
but one of the things
Broadway
I said
show, okay? We put effort and love into this, so of course I'm going to change the fit.
I know, it is a coordinated shirt for every single time too.
It's Roosevelt's, man. You know, they're a big brand that I love, and hopefully one day maybe they'll just become sponsors of the show eventually, manifesting that in some regard. We'll see. But yeah, you know, I was.
We need to add a "What are we wearing?" section.
We do. What are we wearing? Today's outfit is brought to you by Gucci.
Mine is Amazon.
Actually, mine is
Ninja
the
Turtle
Packers
shirt.
Pro Shop and Crocs, as I'm wearing my black Crocs.
Shoes on in your house?
They're house shoes. Okay, I wear house shoes. I have a specific dedicated set of Crocs that I wear inside. Because I don't know, like my feet get cold. I don't get cold. My feet and hands get cold.
Maybe because you're so tall, the circulation can't get to your phalanges.
Yeah, I have lined Crocs. I had to put away my Mickey Christmas Crocs recently, and that was a very sad day in this house.
Dun dun dun! I have on a Ninja Turtle shirt that says "Too legit to quit."
Oh, it's true. But yeah, right. We messed up on something supernatural related.
Actually, this wasn't a mess up. This was something I said I would look into. So when we were doing the fun facts for Elf, we learned that they filmed some of it at a Riverview hospital in Canada, and it's supposedly like an abandoned hospital, wherever, sort of creepy. And when I found out that they filmed in the Vancouver area where Supernatural films, I was like, that has to be a connection. They've had to have filmed there. And as soon as I Googled it, they filmed multiple episodes there. They've filmed Smallville there. So yes, that was confirmed. I didn't go into the details to see specifically which episodes, because it was just like, yeah, this is a standard filming location there. That's all. That's
cool. A nice, cool hospital. Speaking of, let's go into what we've been reading or watching. I have got back on the Supernatural train. Next week, we're probably going to talk about.
We have to finish up season 7.
We're gonna finish up season 7 in like a Supernatural Friday episode.
Season by many.
Yeah. So next week's episode is going to be on Echo's comic book origin, and then we'll have a bonus episode, which is Supernatural. We're getting back on the train. I am over halfway through season 8. I'm actually really enjoying season 8. It's been pretty good so far, gotta say. I didn't have any beef with season 7. I know there's a lot of Leviathan hate, but I don't really understand the hate for that as much. But
I liked season 8. There's just some great. I don't know why people hated the Leviathans too. And it's funny is there's actually a nod to people hating the Leviathans that's made in the later episodes. Somebody, and I don't want to say who, they're like, really? You don't like the Leviathans? Come on, they're all teeth. And yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
and I'll bring that back up when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. I don't get it. Like that.
We get Charlie, and I think some people are mad because Bobby dies in that season.
But you kind of like had to run its course in a way. Like Bobby was awesome, but there was no way that Bobby was a viable person to carry on through all 15 seasons. Like,
when he came back as a ghost.
Yeah, he did come back, and then not to mention like Sam and Dean, they had to have some sort of growth at some point beyond.
They couldn't always have a dad.
Yeah, they had to have some growth, right? And I like in season 8 that they have their own little new bat cave. I thought that was a cool thing that they have now. So
yeah, the Meneletters bunker.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we'll get to all that. But I have watched Percy Jackson, the new series. There's now 3 episodes out. 4 episodes. How's
that going?
Honestly,
Haley's loving it.
It's so good. I was a big fan of the books, read the books. And I was really kind of nervous because last time we got a Percy Jackson live action, it was garbage. But I think
everyone who hated the books hated the movies.
Yeah, this is
loved the books.
Really good surprise. I think like the way it's shot feels like a movie each episode. They're about the standard Disney Plus length, but there's a lot of the Greek mythology lore. They're taking their time with this series, and the kids that are playing Percy and all of the characters, like they're doing a really fantastic job. And I think the special effects are a big standout for me. Obviously, Percy is the son of Poseidon. And so there's some aspects there that are really good. Even the furries, God, it's not the furries, but the Furies, they're really cool. The way that they're done there. Medusa, she showed up at a point and I liked how they did her. So I'm really pleasantly surprised. It's a very good TV show. I think you should give it a chance.
I never read them. I know I credit, I think, Rick Riordan for making Kaylee fall in love with books.
Yeah.
That was the series that she first really got into books, and I'd have to order the next book months before it came out and stuff.
Books are really good. Really. And I think it'd be a TV show you would like, honestly. it's got a lot of good stuff in it that I think you would enjoy. Especially being that you like Supernatural. They're not the same, but there's some elements like
but there's mythological stuff in Supernatural. Makes sense.
exactly. So that's why I think, once it's all out, I'm sure you'll probably get around to watching it. I highly recommend it. After your 45th rewatch of Supernatural. But I did watch.
If Kaylee was living here, I'd probably watch it with her, but she had a little watch party at her house.
Dang, and she didn't.
She's all grown up. No, nobody watches shows with me anymore.
Mom
now
didn't
that Kaylee's
be
gone.
invited. That's all right. Well, when I'm there in February, we're gonna just drink beers and end up binging Percy Jackson.
Right, because we have so much spare downtime
so much spare downtime between brewery meetups, Epcot adventures, and spending the entire day at Megacon, and God knows whatever else we're doing because Sean's gonna be at Disney separate from Megacon. So I know we're gonna end up meeting up with Sean and Sam, and all the spare time we have. Right, we always have grand plans when we get together, and it's like time goes by like that. So
right. I mean, I've never done cocaine, but that would be a good weekend to try it for the first
time. Get a bunch of strippers and blow, and we're going right through the weekend.
I'll hire a limo driver for the weekend. We'll reenact the scene with Harold and Kumar with NPH out the
and Neil Patrick
limo.
Anyways, I did watch What If. I really enjoyed What If. Honestly, I think it was my favorite Marvel TV show to drop last year. And I'm surprised because I didn't like season 1. Season 1 I wasn't very high on, but season 2 was really good. Like the Kahori episode really stood out to me. It was so beautifully done. And also fuck them colonizers, baby. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As I am a white man chanting from his house in Virginia. But yeah, it was a really good. I thought that episode was a standout one. Captain Carter. I really enjoyed the fact that she got some spotlight in this.
I'd love to see her come back as Captain Carter.
I hope they bring her back in the actual live action MCU. I think since she played such a key part in the first 2 seasons of What If, I got a feeling
she played a huge part in 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got a feeling that they're going to do some more live action stuff with her, just with the multiverse and Secret Wars and everything like that.
And if anybody hasn't watched Peggy Carter, I highly recommend checking it out. I thought it was a great show. It's only 2 seasons. It was on ABC, so they're a little bit longer and the episodes are a little bit longer, but I just thought it was so fun. She was the reason that SHIELD got started. And, she was the reason that Captain America trusted SHIELD because Peggy started it. And it was really cool to see her, how does a woman get respect in the 40s after she was like leading people into war and whatnot? And you come back and you see her get treated like crap and yet still prove herself. And then, she runs into Dum Dum. And of course, Dum Dum only is listening to her because he knows how intelligent she is and badass she is. And it was such a good show. I should rewatch that show. Maybe after.
I haven't actually watched it, to be honest.
Supernatural show. That was a great one. And that was one when it came out, gosh, probably over like maybe 10 years ago now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God.
So it was one I watched with Kaylee when she was about 10. And it was like, it was a girl-led superhero show connected to the MCU. So we were all about it.
Yeah. It was, I have nothing against, I think Peggy Carter's awesome. And I would love to see more live action rather than the 2 seconds we got in Doctor Strange. But
yeah, my favorite though was the one with Star-Lord, where he was the kid.
Oh, that was really
cool. Was my favorite one.
How, like, what if, Star-Lord came to Earth and attacked and Ego came and the whole.
It was battle. If Yondu delivered Star-Lord to Ego.
Yes. And I thought it was great seeing Star-Lord as a kid. And the fact that he always had that he would have hated his dad anyways. That was a really cool episode. I like the basically the NASCAR episode with Iron Man and Gamora and how at the end they took on Thanos together. Like, really cool too.
Where Iron Man goes to Sakaar.
Yeah, we got some more of the Grand Master. That was a solid episode, and the artwork was really cool. And then even Happy Hogan, he came back and had some Hulk abilities in him, and that was a fun episode too early on in the season. So
yeah, and I was impressed with how many people came back to voice their characters.
Yeah, big time. I thought so too.
I never skipped the intro because I wanted to see who was actually there.
Same. And it was really, I always because like Nebula was obviously, she came back, and I
didn't love that one.
It was okay. It was kind of like the kickoff. Yeah, it was when What If Nebula was a part of Dang, I'm blanking on the name. But
it was if I can't remember exactly what the what if was,
Xandar,
but basically when Xandar was attacked in the first Guardians movie, they put up the shield and locked themselves into like 2050, and Nebula joined the like Nova Corps.
Yes, Nova Corps. That's right.
But the issue I think I had with it, and maybe this is because of Cosmic Rewind at Epcot now, is I don't think Nova Prime would have acted like that. And I don't want to give too many spoilers because the show's not that new.
What if?
No, I understand why she would do that. But she, like, it wasn't this is a Hail Mary. This is a desperate attempt to save my people. I don't want to do this, but this is what I have to. She did a 180 and became evil.
She did.
I just ruined it anyways. I'm sorry.
We're not going to spoil it. But that bitch was evil.
I just spoiled it. Spoilers. This is a Doctor Who episode. Spoilers.
It is. So anyways, what I've been reading, some comic book recommendations, Cap Wolf by Stephanie Phillips. And she's been a really great job with that series. It's 3 issues deep, I think maybe 4 issues now. But I've been reviewing that one monthly. Really enjoying that. It's Captain America as a werewolf and he's kicking ass. Like that. What more do you need in life, right? That's from Marvel. I have been reading Kill Your Darlings by Ethan S. Parker, Griffin Sheridan, Robert Quinn, John J. Hill from Image Comics. And if you listen to our first part of episode 200, that was one of my favorite Image comics of 2023. Beautiful, beautiful comic book. The art is just gorgeous. The story is like a fantasy with a darker, like an adult fantasy almost. So that was really good. And then I reviewed Dracula, been doing that one by James Tynion and Werther Dell'Edera. Very good.
Yeah, I read the first one.
It's good.
I really liked the art. The art was cool. It's like watercolors.
Yeah, it's like a watercolor like portrait almost, and it's building. And
that's one that's going to be at Megacon.
Yes. It's like this slow dread. It's like a slow burn Dracula, which James Tynion does slow burn really, really well in comics. And so you're slowly building up. Dracula's hunted a couple people at this point, but you have the doctor he's met up with Van Helsing. And so things are kind of starting to formulate and whatnot. So very good comic book. Fans of Dracula and Van Helsing and all that are really going to enjoy that. If you take a chance, give it a read. Really, really highly.
And if you like those as well, check out the Midnight Show. Again, we talked about that last week, but Van Helsing and Dracula is in there, but it's more of a somewhat comedic modern approach rather than, oh, your hops just fell.
I heard it.
I love those lights. They're so pretty. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in. It's a Midnight Show from Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah.
It's only a 4-issue run, so it just wrapped up. They put the end ? At the end, so I think it's going to keep going. But the ending was freaking hilarious. And it was there was like a couple twists at the end and then one hilarious reveal at the very end that I did not see coming. That was just such a great, like modern day villain mixed in with all these classic monsters.
Yeah. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to have to get into it because I know you're raving about that. The last thing I will recommend is Birds of Prey. I've been reading that, reviewing that from DC Comics, Kelly Thompson, Eris Dren. Really good. It's got Big Barda, Zealot, Sin, Cassandra Cain is Batgirl in this, Harley Quinn, and Black Canary. They're trying to save Sin from this monster, and it's been doing pretty well. And it's really Kelly Thompson's been knocking out the park as far as writing goes. So that's what I've been doing. What have you been up to?
We really kind of covered everything I read or watched. The only other thing I reviewed this week was number 5 of The Hunger and the Dust, which I rated that as one of my number 1 comics for last year. So you know how I feel. I didn't love this issue as much as I've loved the past issues because something that needed to happen that I didn't want to happen happened. But I know that next week they'll fix it. Are you watching sports?
I have breaking news.
Okay.
More Star Wars guests were just added for Megacon.
Oh, shit.
Ashley
Why are you
Eckstein,
making a face? Oh, yeah. That makes sense. She's here.
Alan Tudyk.
Which one's Alan Tudyk? Why do I know that? I know that name. I can picture it.
Because he's
with the thingies?
Rogue One, the droid. K2SO.
Oh, he's a pirate.
Yes.
From Dodgeball. Okay, yeah.
I'm making a face because this third guest.
Please don't tell me it's Gina Carano.
It's Gina Carano.
Seriously?
Oh no.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, yeah. So
I wonder if she'll do any panels with anybody though. I can't imagine she would.
I would actually love if I would pay for a photo op with Ashley Eckstein. Honestly.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something we have to do. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I saw an email pop up from Megacon just now in our inbox. And so that said, may the force Star Wars coming to Megacon, so I opened it, and yeah, Gina Carano.
I mean, she's still doing stuff. There are still people who like her. She was only in Mandalorian though, and I feel like a lot out of like Giancarlo Esposito, which when he goes, he's part of the boys, he's part of Breaking Bad. I don't see her doing panels with anybody.
I feel like they will, but we'll see. It's Mandalorian. She'll be there for, so I imagine maybe her and Giancarlo Esposito will, unless Giancarlo's a real one and says I ain't talking to her, but.
Isn't she also like a MMA fighter or something?
She was, yes, who took a very hard right turn, if you're catching my drift, and that's why she's not on the show anymore. So,
right.
I will not be at her table. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off with the breaking news there.
No, you're good. That was pretty much all I was saying was The Hunger in the Dusk. Other than that, it's just been What If and Supernatural.
Well, let's roll into some news then. We've been talking about Megacon. Speaking of Megacon, some cool announcements that we're excited about. So Scott Snyder is going to be there. He's one of my favorite comic book writers. But the Ghost Machine crew, Jeff Johns, we can kind of officially say friend of the show, Jeff Johns. Kind of cool to say. Whoa, goosebumps. But Gary Frank, Brian Hitch, Peter Tomasi, Peter Snedgeber, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. I'm going to mess these names up. Francis Monopole, Ivan Rice, Jason Fabik, Brian Anderson, Brad Meltzer, Lamont Maggi, and Maitel Shoot are all going to
really
be
good
there, on behalf of Ghost Machine. And we might, I don't want to jinx it, but there's things in the works there that I can't talk about further, but there might be something happening with us and Ghost Machine.
More it did start Geiger actually today.
It's really good. It did really good at those Cheersy Awards that we hosted on Nerd Initiative. Like it swept best artist, letterer, writer, all that kind of stuff. So it's got a lot. And the very first issue actually of Ghost Machine is due to drop this month.
But not to, because it is a little confusing because they were releasing these comics beforehand and it's through Image. Yes. So yeah. So the one I was reading, I think it was from 2022, maybe. And it's like an 80-page comic and they're like introducing all the characters. And
it's basically a big introduction to get you ready for April's big rollout of the series.
Yeah, they're fantastic characters too. And I actually found it. I was going through the older comics because I hadn't gotten Nocterra in a while. And the guy at my shop's like, oh, if you go over there, all those ones are discounted. And I found it. I'm like, sweet. Because I like having it in my hand. I don't like reading it on the screen unless I have to.
Same. I prefer reading it and holding it in my hand.
I feel like your hops are going to start attacking you.
That's just that one right there. Anyways, Tamora Morrison and Ming Na Wen, aka Fennec Shand from Book of Boba Fett. She's also in Mulan and she's Agent May.
I guess they were both in Mando.
Yes, they will both be at Megacon. I love Tamora, so it'd be kind of cool to get to meet. There's all these cool guests I want to meet. Obviously, don't have the money for any of that, so
I'd love for the two of them to do a panel that we could go to.
I feel like there'll probably be a really big Star Wars panel of some kind.
I love her, Ming-Na Wen. She's a kicks ass in Agent May, and then she's freaking Mulan.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked on that. We are getting another Jay and Silent Bob movie. So that's exciting because it's the 30th anniversary this year of Clerks. Kevin Smith has said that they wouldn't give him the rights because he doesn't own the rights to Clerks. So they couldn't do another Clerks film. So instead of doing that, they're going to do
Do we want another Clerks film at this point?
I don't think we do.
After how the third one ended?
Yeah, Clerks 3 wrapped things up. But they was talking basically about how the whole plan was for Jay Muse's kid eventually to be like the daughter of Harley, in the Jay and Silent Bob movie, and then when they turn 18, like when she grows up and kind of continue the family. But
was her name Millennium Falcon? Isn't that what they named?
Something, yeah, in the movie. Yeah. But they didn't want to wait till Jay Muse's daughter grew up. So they're going to do a new Clerks movie this year. Pretty exciting to see where that comes from or where that goes. I'm pretty pumped for that. If you know us, we're big Kevin Smith fans, right? Big Askew Universe fans. And they are going to have a presence at Megacon as well. So I can't wait for that. Shout out to friend of the show, Brian O'Halloran, just saying again. Steamboat
He's not going to be at Megacon though, but Jason Lee and a couple people from Mallrats will be.
I know, man, that sucks. I was kind of hoping he would be.
I hope they lean into Kevin Smith. There is still a chance. They just said they did the last, and actually I'll go through the last wave of comic book creators that they recently announced. So Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, who are friends of the show.
Friends of the show.
What a difference a year makes. Some other announcements. D. Bradley Baker, who is Captain Rex. He plays a lot of the clone troopers in The Bad Batch and all sorts of stuff. So I would love to take a picture with him just to say that I met all these people, and Tamir Morrison too.
We
so
met the clone army.
Yeah, basically you meet the two of them and you've met the animated army and the real army. You're going to have Gray DeLeasley, who's from Scooby-Doo. She voices Daphne. Christopher Sarandon, who's from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I think we had mentioned him before. Maybe we had mentioned some of these, but I don't think we had mentioned.
But it's all good.
Oh, maybe we did. This came out a while ago. I'm just really excited, I guess. My bad.
We definitely did.
Okay. I'm like saying these. I'm like, this sounds familiar.
We did all those. Obviously, Hayden Christensen, Obi-Wan Kenobi, they're going to be there. Their stuff's already sold out. They're going to panel on Earth. I
was on the wrong screenshots. Okay, we're also going to have Martin Simons, who does Dracula, Tony Daniel, who does Noctera, and Edenwood. Edenwood is actually, I think there are only 3 issues in. That's a one that I'm absolutely loving. That's a supernatural-based comic. I know we talked about that recently, too. Charles Soule, he's some of the recent Star Wars Vader writer, that so I'm trying to see if any of these other names look familiar or friends of the show. Tony Daniel. Did I say I said Tony Daniel? Jeff Loeb. A lot of good people.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people coming, man. I'm pretty pumped about that. Speaking of comics, Distillery has a comic coming from James Tynion and Christian Ward called Spectrograph that could be out in April. 2 of the best writers and artists in the game right now, and Distillery's are upcoming new comic book company. And Willem Dafoe is going to be getting a star on the Walk of Fame, which I'm kind of surprised he doesn't already have one, considering he's one of the biggest actors of all time. And then Steamboat Willie. Public domain now. There's already a horror movie going to be made. How do you feel about this one?
Okay with it, honestly. I'm okay with them doing stuff with Mickey. Pooh Bear, I'm not. Pooh Bear is precious and innocent. Did you ever? There was a movie that came out a while ago. It was very low budget. Somebody actually filmed it at Magic Kingdom or maybe Disneyland, and they got in trouble. I think it was Magic Kingdom. And it was like I did watch it on like YouTube or something. I can't remember what it's called. Obviously, they had to shut it down. They couldn't do it. But the person, it like ended with like the dad being like tortured inside the Epcot ball or something.
Oh, wow.
I'll have to try to find it and Google it and see what the name is, but I'm perfectly fine with it. He better whistle. I hope it's like a evil, like, you know how he does at the beginning of all the movies now? It's like the.
Yeah. He's walking.
Yeah. Oh, that was Elmo's World. I don't know what I was just whistling. But I think that would be really creepy if he's just singing that opening whistle tune while he's like hunting people. Just don't fuck with Pooh Bear anymore. Just leave Pooh Bear alone.
They're not leaving Pooh Bear alone. I think Peter Pan also just recently became public domain. So
hasn't he been?
Of time. I don't know, man.
Because a lot of people have done Peter Pan. That's not. Peter Pan's creepy.
Peter Pan is creepy. It's a kid that kidnaps other kids, doesn't want to grow up.
Brings them to the afterlife.
And he has his shadow like doing sketchy shit. And he's got his fairy that works with him. So Peter Pan's. If you ever watched
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, the TV show. That's right. He's
creepy in that.
I do remember that. And then my last bit of news, though, however, is that Barbie, instead of being nominated for Best Picture like it should have been, it's going to be nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay for the Oscars. I think Warner Brothers is really missing out on that one, probably because they know they won't go up and beat Oppenheimer. But still, man, Barbie, my favorite film of the year. Just saying. But whatever. What are you going to do? What do you have on the news?
So Echo comes out January 9th. They are releasing all 5 episodes. Make sure that you have your Disney Plus account.
It's only 5 episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought it was more. Damn.
It's going to be on Disney Plus and Hulu. I'd rather it be 5 than them 4, 6 or,
There was a leaked fight sequence between Echo and Daredevil that looked pretty good that came out.
Yeah, I heard about that, but I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it, but I did, and it looked pretty cool.
But you are going to have to make sure your account is on TVMA. So that's good that we're getting that now. Other stuff coming to Disney Plus this month. X-Men should already be there because it's coming out January 5th.
Yeah.
When we did our Patreon episode, I had to dust off the DVD. So it's nice to see those coming on. They're also doing the making of Echo and the making of Percy Jackson will be out January 31st. Did you ever watch the Ted movies? So they're doing a prequel to Ted. It's going to be a TV show coming to Peacock and Binge on January 11th.
Does everything need a prequel? Do we really need to make a prequel of everything?
I mean, I don't know. I don't have Peacock.
I do.
Or Binge.
You can always log into my Peacock if you need it. But
yeah, my free Peacock just ended. Maybe if I get another free 3 months for Horror Nights next year, I'll watch it.
I watch football on it. So. It's Sunday Night Football, yeah.
So we get NBC and ABC and everything on our satellite, not our satellite, our antenna, but it's not bunny ears.
That makes sense. I tried to hook an antenna up and it wouldn't work. So that's why I paid for YouTube TV right now.
Oh, that's lame. Ours is literally like a square that's thumbtacked to the wall behind the TV and it's connected to the TV.
Yeah. Same. That's exactly what I have. And for some reason, it wouldn't
And it
pick
won't
anything
work.
up. I don't know why. I
Maybe
even
you
bought
put
a
some
nice
foil
fancy
on
mirror.
it.
Oh God.
Hey, when Kaylee was little, I literally had bunny ears with foil on them.
Take us back to the 90s, baby. I know
That
she
wasn't the
born in
90s.
I
That
know it
was the
wasn't
early
90s, but that's what I pictured.
2000s. My other news, Jensen Ackles is once again voicing Batman in Justice League Crisis Part 1. That will be on digital January 9th. James Gunn, pay attention, please.
James Gunn, please cast this man as Batman. Do us a favor.
Steve Wynn is not going to be in the Thunderbolts anymore.
Yeah.
Womp, womp, womp.
I guess scheduling issues due to the strike.
I'm sorry, but shouldn't you make Marvel a priority? Or maybe it was a contract he just couldn't get out of, but like...
It's probably a contract, yeah.
If it's Marvel or Star Wars, priority. And my last piece...
that came out that said that he didn't like the script, so who knows?
Oh.
It's actually true. I'm not going to spread baseless rumors. I think that's just a baseless rumor that I just spread, but I'm not going to spread them anymore.
Maybe he ends up being stuck under a dumpster. So funny story, my niece, who's 17, is currently watching The Walking Dead, and she started to say something, and my brother's like, Jocelyn, be careful what you say. You're about to get something spoiled. And then she said something about Glenn dying. And I was like, and then she said something else, and I was like, oh, you're really lucky your dad just stopped you, because I was 100% about to spoil something.
Yeah. Oh,
so now I know exactly where she is. My last piece of news, if you're like me and you like to just have stuff on the TV sometimes when you're just like cleaning or whatever, you can now have Sabine's Loth Cat for 2 hours just chilling on the TV sleeping on Disney
adorable.
Plus. Yeah, I had, Alexa playing my Spotify, and then on the TV, I just have the cat sleeping while I de-Christmasified the house.
Oh, yeah, we did that too. It was depressing. Went fast, though. Now you realize how much space is left in your house.
Oh my God, our house looks so empty.
Our house looks empty, but bigger, just because of how that goes. But we do have one piece of beer news.
Guess who's back?
Pontoon Brewing is back. They figured something out. They, shut down due to distribution issues. They weren't getting money paid. They had to shut down. However, they're going to go back to their original location and going to scale things back a bit. And so Pontoon Brewing is coming back. They're out of Atlanta, Georgia. Sean, a friend of ours, of
the Hops News show that I drunkenly introduced myself to at Wavy Days.
Yeah, Maine. I'm going to be bringing the brownie batter that I've had for a couple of years aging down with me. We can crack that open because I've been saving it for a rainy day. So yeah, anyways, that's all our news. Let's roll into our Doctor Who specials. So we will be right back in just a moment. All right. Doctor Who, for all of our Whovians out there, if you're like us, we're big Doctor Who fans. And David Tennant, the probably most popular Doctor, made a big bad return with Donna Noble in the first, 3 celebration for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. They had 3 specials that recently came out, which we're going to talk about. And then we'll talk about the Christmas special. So the first special to come out was Star Beast. And the summary of this one is that 10, who is now the 14th Doctor, is trying to figure out why 10's face is back. He then sees Donna and her daughter Rose. And that's when we actually meet the Meep. The Meep claims to be that they're being hunted, but is in fact the bad guy. Spoilers. The Doctor figures it out. There's a big clue that was that the aliens after the Meep was just stunning people, not killing them. The Doctor then stays the day with Donna, who was able to survive because she had a child and was able to share the power with the child. And then Donna pours coffee on the TARDIS and it goes crazy. So why don't you hit us with some fun facts before we kind of talk about this episode?
So Rose is, she's transgendered woman, which I didn't pick that up at all. We talked about that before, but I thought was interesting. And I saw this on Facebook and then I fact checked it real quick. When those little shit kids were teasing her and calling her by her dead name, Jason actually means healer, like a doctor. So both names are connected to the TARDIS. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is, again, we talked about this is based on a comic from the 80s that was featuring the 4th Doctor. Tom Baker actually did an audio version, but never a live action one. When 10 first sees Donna, he says, what, 3 times? The what? Just like he did when she first appeared in the TARDIS in a wedding dress the first time we ever met her. So I've only ever watched Doctor Who once. And I feel like I need to go back at some point and start at 9 and go through, because it was like I had forgotten about that. And it's like it was her wedding day and she literally just shows up in the TARDIS. And so obviously that was a play on that. In the comic we had talked about before too, the audience finds out that the Meep is evil before the Doctor does in the comic, whereas in the show the Doctor figured it out and explained it to us.
Yeah.
which
the
I
Meep
actually like
is-
that more, I think, because it was a twist later on.
Right. I do too, because the Meep was supposed to be like this cute thing. You're like, oh no. And then it turns like real sus real quick. And you're like, oh, fuck the Meep.
It
Die.
was so adorable.
It was. And then it turned mean out of nowhere. Like, oh gosh. But something they did really cool. So in this episode, we
Shouldn't
kind
have
of
fed the
briefly
meat
talked
after
about.
midnight.
I mean, true. But the sonic screwdriver, it had the ability to put up blast shields. That was kind of new.
Yeah. And force fields. And I mean, every time it gets better. And I mean, that makes sense that it
It
improves.
does. I like the way that they kind of change it. And then we were definitely confused about, is it 10? Is it 14? But I guess
It's
the
14.
actual thing is it's 14. But that was cool. I like this episode. It was cool to go back. We see Donna. She has no memory originally of what happened, right? Because he had to make her forget because she has
save
the
her.
doctor in her, you know.
Like her brain would explode. Like the human body can't handle
Right.
that much information. It's almost like in Butterfly Effect when he has too many memories and he starts like getting the brain bleed.
Yeah, yeah. And so that was really cool. I thought this was a nice return. It was good to see Donna. Donna, you know, she still is Donna. So I thought that was really
She's
cool.
so funny in everything she's
She
in.
is.
I haven't seen her in too many things, but
I haven't either, but I know she's like a big actress.
great in The
for
Office.
BBC and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think something that was really cool is like David Tennant, you can just tell is exhilarated to be back in Doctor Who. He's like somebody who gives it his all. And they keep bringing him back because I think number one, he just wants to keep coming back. But
and
number
he brings
two,
in the audience.
yeah, he brings the audience back in. Russell T Davies is writing these who there's mixed, you know, feelings about him within the Doctor Who universe, but I
love him. I know he's one of my mom's favorites. She was the first one that put him on my radar. She was like, "Oh, that's a Russell T Davies episode years and years and years ago." She's like, "That's a good one. All his episodes are good."
I heard the ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, didn't like him, and that's why he won't return.
Yeah, that was such a short one. No, he's very underrated. I don't know if it's because he wasn't around long or because it was just the first iteration of the Doctor going in. But like he's so freaking like sarcastic and sassy, and a lot of it just gets like overlooked. Like he's really funny.
He is. I liked him a lot. He was Carrie's favorite Doctor, actually, which I liked him too, and I think he's a really good actor. And he rolled from Doctor Who right into the Dark World, so I feel like he kind of got a bad rap from the Dark World, and then just the way he did one season of Doctor Who and then disappeared. Like there was something there that I guess I don't think he's as appreciated as he at the time as he may be now. What were your thoughts on this episode overall?
I really like this one. This one might have been my favorite of the three, but that could also be because I was just grinning ear to ear because David Tennant and Donna were back.
Yeah.
I thought it was really great. And I thought the way because when you're going to bring a fan favorite back, and there's definitely always going to be a little bit of fan service. But I mean, honestly, if we're watching this for entertainment, it's all fan service anyways. But it was, a little bit extra. Like, did they need to bring him back? No, but they lost a lot of viewership with Jodie. And like, I thought Jodie Whittaker was a fantastic doctor.
Yeah.
Did not love all the stories though.
I haven't watched all of hers, but from what I've seen, I thought she brought a good flavor to the Doctor, honestly. Like,
yes. And I liked her companions. She had a lot of companions, and I loved some of the stuff, but I didn't love all of it. Like I felt like there were lulls in the story.
That's how I felt with Peter Capaldi. There was just like,
I feel the same way. There was stuff I loved with him, but I mean, for me, it goes 10, 11, 9. And then I feel like 13 and 12 might be tied, but I liked Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor more, but I think I like the stories of Capaldi more.
I think that's what it was too, is like the story. If we had the stories of Capaldi with Jodie Whittaker, I feel like it would have been better. I liked Peter Capaldi. I thought he did a great job, but he didn't hit with me the way that obviously 10, 11 and 9 did.
They say he got older for River, which is kind of cute.
It is.
Like he got younger for Rose and he got older for River.
It's always interesting how that works out. But yeah, no, I liked this one too. It was a good reintroduction. They did a good job of kind of bringing you back to speed as well. If you maybe didn't see Donna or couldn't remember anything about her.
Yeah, they did. Well, and just because there's just so many episodes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's so much to go back and rewatch. And so you got until May to kind of rewatch. So maybe we'll do some more of that. But see special number 2, Wild Blue Yonder, which a fun fact about this, that's actually the Air Force song, which is, God, I hate it. They play it on the bass every day, and all you hear is "Off we go into the wild blue yonder," and then this makes me just feel like an old man shouting at the clouds. But it used to be one hell of a roar. They changed it to one heck of a roar for some.
So my mom used to have this sweater from when she went whitewater rafting, and it's something about a hell of a trip down the thing or whatever. And she wanted to wear it to church. So she literally painted over the L's and painted CK on it. And like, they don't talk about hell in church, or you could just not wear it to church.
Hell, the literally like God's most famous adversary's domain. But all right, whatever. They always.
But
tell
my mom has artistic talents, but it was very obvious that was.
You could just not wear it to church.
Just not, what were you thinking, Mom? I wonder what. I mean, I don't think she has that sweater anymore. I haven't seen it in decades.
Anyways, why don't you go ahead and give us a summary of Wild Blue Yonder?
So we end up on a random empty spaceship after meeting Isaac Newton, and now gravity is called Mavity.
Awesome. I love that.
I wonder
what about
how long
gravity?
they'll play that out. That was fantastic. And then the doppelgangers show up after the TARDIS took off for safety reasons, which was a feature that had been turned off before. It accidentally got turned back on when it got like reset. So they figure out quickly that there's a timer that's going on the ship, and it's like going to self-explode. And then they learn the original pilot actually killed themselves so that these creepy shape-shifting doppelgangers wouldn't gain the knowledge that the pilot had, because if they had gained the knowledge, they were then going to basically go destroy world. As the TARDIS shows back up, we then see a reunion back on Earth with Wilf. However, this is short-lived happy moment as we see
that was
the Earthlings have gone crazy.
Very touching, because you can see how excited he was to see the Doctor again.
Both of them. And he's like, everything's right with the world now that you're here. And knowing that he passed right after that was even made it more, but it was so sweet. And actually I do, so he didn't get to film the stuff for the third special because he passed away. So when you see him in the third special, you don't see his face. The audio, when you do hear him, was from a past episode.
Yeah. He also actually, the actor, Bernard Privens, he was in a non-canon Doctor Who movie back in the 60s called The Daleks Invasion Earth. He played a cop. He traveled in the TARDIS with someone named Doctor Who. The Doctor in this was the actor who played Grand Moff Tarkin, aka Peter Cushing. So that's pretty cool. I did like this episode. It was kind of creepy. The doppelgangers were really creepy, especially Donna's, when they're running down that long hallway. And something that was really clever was the whole robot moving extremely slow. Like, that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I didn't love this one as much as the first and the third one. It was fine. It was fine, but I didn't love it as much as the other two.
I agree with that.
It was just
a funny scene. Yeah. What?
I was just saying it was just kind of there for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was definitely my least favorite of the four specials. There was a funny scene, though. There's some behind the scenes footage. I guess David Tennant's wife was on set a lot, the Doctor's daughter, both in the show and in real life. And they were showing the one guy, because you see at one point, the doppelganger of the Doctor does the back bend and starts like being on. So they had his stunt double do a back bend, and David Tennant said something along the lines of, they're really bending over backwards to get this shot.
Oh my God. That's some stupid shit, I would say. Yeah, I don't really have much to add for this one. I thought it was all right. Didn't love it, but it was cool, creepy. You got to see a little bit more about, TARDIS, Doctor, Donna, all that kind of stuff. She's got her memories and everything back, and she kind of took it all back for herself because she's the Dr. Donna.
Dr. Donna, yep.
Yeah, which leads us into Special 3, The Giggle. We kick this episode off in 1925, seeing Neil Patrick Harris. We then see somebody who buys a doll from the toy maker and then use it as an experiment into the invention of the television. As the doll's head melts, we continue to hear his giggle. Then we go back to present day where everybody has lost their mind and is certain that they are right, which is kind of more so than normal. And anyways, we see the toy maker dancing in the back. The Doctor and Donna head to Unit to see what is going on. They show what is happening. And Donna figures out that the frequency is a song and that it's the giggle that is impacting everybody's behavior. Donna then gets offered a job. We see the Doctor and Donna find the toy shop with the toy maker, and we get all the doors. They're separated. It's kind of like this cool, which door is which, this room kind of building thing.
It was similar to the last one where they get like separated and they're trying to find each other. I'm like, They're doing this again?
Oh God, the creepy dolls on this one that kind of attack Donna there, and she's beating them off like, okay, that said it wrong. Pause. She's beating them and fending them off. That was kind of cool. And we hear about the past companions and what had happened to them. They then play a game, which the toy maker shows up at unit, starts to turning everybody into toys. The doctor gets shot, starts to regenerate. However, this is where Russell T Davies has said they're going to do something very different, and that's where we get a bi-generation. Instead, we meet the 15th Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, who is it's now 2 doctors. We got the 14th Doctor and we got the 15th Doctor versus one toy maker in a game of don't drop the ball. The doctors end up winning, and Neil Patrick Harris, aka the toy maker, gets his tooth is left behind after he just disappears and gets sent away, and it gets picked up by somebody with a nice red manicure. So at the end of this episode, they said to wrap the box of the toy maker in salt.
I just thought that was funny. It was like a supernatural
1 degree of supernatural. We end with 2 TARDISes.
Crowley is part of Doctor Who. There's a lot of. Have you ever heard of Super Hulock?
No, yes, I have. It's a big TARDIS Tumblr. Jeez.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. Like people who are big into Doctor Who, Sherlock, and Supernatural. I saw somebody ask Jensen that at like a convention. He's like, "What?" He's like, "Can you not speak British? What are you saying?"
I'm sorry. What?
So yeah, Super Hulock.
Yeah, at the end of this episode, we have 2 doctors, 2 TARDIS, 15 takes off. Then 10/14 stays back with Donna, where we get this cool reunion at the end. We'll talk about in a second. Now, fun facts. The OG toy maker was introduced with the very first Doctor. Some of the episodes have actually been lost forever with only the audio surviving, which is a real shame. I'm surprised they don't have those somewhere.
Because they only had so much money and space back then. So they had to like delete them to make room for new things. And yeah.
Crazy. The TV inventor in this was real and did use a head of a ventriloquist dummy as his first thing he put on TV as a test. The lights were hot and did singe and melt the head. This is actually a sad fact now. You never see Will's face because he passed before he could film the scenes. We mentioned this one. Mel is back. She was a companion for 6 and 7. And the news reporter, who is Wells, which is on TV, has been in past Doctor Who episodes and was actually on Torchwood. So what did you think about this episode?
This one was very good. I loved seeing Neil Patrick Harris, being Neil Patrick Harris in a sense. Yeah. I especially like seeing him dance in the background. I got really emotional when I knew that it was coming, because you knew this was inevitably coming. You knew who the 15th Doctor had been cast. You knew it was, but I did not. It was less sad once I saw them split. Yeah. So I thought it was a really interesting ending, and especially because they left it open.
Yeah.
For Tennent and Donna to go do stuff. They left it completely open. This was, I know we talked about this a little bit, but this was the first time you really saw a lot of nods to older companions and to older episodes. Even, when the toy maker was like, oh, and this, Bill turned into a Cyberman, and this happened to Rose, and this happened to all these people. And he's like, well, that's all right then, or whatever. He was like yelling at him when he was explaining like what he did to save them. Like, oh, I turned, did this for River so she can like live forever and this. Well, that's all right then. Whatever he kept saying. It was so funny.
I will say that's a good point. They really did lean into the very old, doctors, which is something they never really did before until now.
Yeah, they really and truly treat them like they are different people. Like the job was just replaced. And I get that I do think that they feel like different people. And they, he may not love Amelia the same way 11 did, but he still experienced that. Yeah. And like he still loved River in multiple iterations. And, you see companions go from one doctor to another. So why would you just like completely forget about these other things? Like he was so close with Rory and Amelia, but only as 11. Like that never really set well with me.
Weird. I agree with that. Like, you never get a lot of like, especially like Rose was like one of his, loves in a way, and Amelia and his past companions. You never really get that callback or, hey, this reminds me of this or that. It's just like, yeah, that happened, moved on, which is weird because you spend so much time together. And I get you're the doctor, but still, like he has shown to be sentimental and she has shown to be sentimental. So it's kind of strange that they never really leaned into
when he was distraught when Amelia and Rory died. I mean, he felt that he was very distraught, but then they just moved, then he became 12 and just moved along.
Weird. But I like this episode too. One of my favorite things about this is when they bi-generated. And so like they come out and
Tennant has no underwear on.
The clothes. Like it's funny that what Ncuti took and what David took, and the shoes and the socks and the underwear and the shirt. And then like I thought that was really clever because he came out of him. And I like that part a lot. And I really like
He came out of him. Yeah. They're like, push off.
He's like, what? And because you knew it was going to come. So I was getting emotionally prepared to have to say goodbye to David Tennant again. And how many times are we going to do this? Right. Like, how many times are we going to bring David Tennant back in some mysterious manner and then get rid of him again? But this time they made it to where they could really do spinoff shows and if they wanted to, or bring him back for a special, which I think David has said that they're not planning to do anytime soon, but the opportunity is there.
Well, there is another 10 out there in another universe.
Yeah.
So I guess they could have technically been doing this all along with him and Rose, but he didn't have a TARDIS. Now he has 2 TARDISes.
Yeah. And I think, it was really cool seeing the family dinner at the end with everybody too, but they basically they explained it that he's tired, that his powers are wonky and he's weak because he's so tired that he needs to rest, which is their way of being like, all right, we're getting our cake and eating it too. So we're going to put you back burner. And then who knows, maybe a couple of years down the road, we'll revisit what they're up to or bring him back for a one-off or something like that. Cause what's happening.
I mean, they're only in the early 50s. They got a lot of years to go.
That's true. That is true. That is wild. It
is wild. Yeah.
So
they were 37 and 38 when they started. Now they're 51 and 52. Wow. They look great. Both of them
do. They look the same. They really haven't aged.
Did you see before we go into the Christmas one? So Ncuti did comment something along the lines of not having pants on because of David Tennant, and David Tennant's wife shared it, and she goes, "I have the same problem."
I mean, who?
And that's why they have 5 children.
I would same problem. I will never forget the lack of selfie I ended up taking. Man, that haunts me to this day. There's a couple things in life that haunt me, and that's one of them. But let's go into the Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road. Why don't you hit us with the summary? So
we start with Ruby Sunday being interviewed on a show that appears to help people find their birth parents, as she was left at a church as an infant. For weeks after this, she experiences what she thinks is clumsiness, but it's actually creepy baby-eating goblins who wear festive holiday hats and move stuff around. The doctor meets Ruby at a club, and then we meet her adopted mother, who has fostered many babies over the years, and she actually gets a new infant on Christmas to foster that the creepy goblins want to eat. The doctor and Ruby Sunday save the baby, and clearly you see a connection between the two of them immediately. This pisses off the goblins, who go back in time and eat Ruby, making her foster mom not so chipper. And now the foster mom is depressed, and it's almost like and It's the Wonderful Life type of story. The doctor, however, then goes back and fixes this, and Ruby is back, and she gets in the TARDIS.
Yeah. What's some fun facts you got before we go into our thoughts?
So Russell T. Davies did say that who her parents are and why she was abandoned will be part of the series. So we will learn more about that. The church did not have snow. They actually
Is she a Skywalker too?
Maybe. She's going to bury the TARDIS in sand at the end.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
And this was the first Christmas episode since 2017. Poor Jodie Whittaker got fucked out of Christmas
how does that happen?
I don't know.
Doctor Who Christmas is a staple. All right.
I agree.
Like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
I even like the superhero one with Capaldi.
Yeah, I can't believe that this is the first one that they did in a while. And it was really freaking good. I thought, right from the get-go, Ncuti has a ton of charisma. I like he was in the club dancing, he's vibing.
Dude, he's spinning like a maniac. And yeah.
He has a lot. You can tell. He gives me
energy.
He gives me David Tennant vibes of how much he seems to be enjoying playing this character, which
and he ran the most, I feel like.
Oh, he was running everywhere. Yeah.
I think we're going to have another runner on our hands.
Oh, he's definitely going to be running, sprinting everywhere. He brought a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. I am so pumped. I got to say, he has the potential to possibly become my second favorite Doctor just based off of what I've seen
That's
so
fair.
far.
I mean, he's not wearing a bow tie, but...
No.
Or a fez.
You never know. You could change outfits. It's the first, who knows? But I thought his sonic screwdriver is interesting because it's not in the shape of a screwdriver. It's like a remote.
I didn't like that.
It was weird.
I did not like that at all.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think if I had one complaint, that would be it.
It was weird. The goblins are cool. I like the dancing bit where they sung and, did song and dance on the goblin ship. I thought that was pretty clever. I thought Ruby and the Doctor have a lot of chemistry together naturally. Mm-hmm. And she was fantastic in this. So I'm really excited that she's going to be the companion because I think there's a lot of fun to be had from this potential story.
I agree. And they're both, orphans and
yeah,
they kind of bonded over that.
Yep.
I didn't understand why the goblins had on hats. Do they only have on hats around
the Santa hat?
Do they celebrate Christmas?
I don't know.
I thought that was
one
kind
really
of weird.
did have a Santa hat, and that picture it took with the camera there, it reminds me of like my kids trying to take a picture on their iPads.
Yeah. Or trying to FaceTime with someone who's older.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of funny though, because how many times are you like, I could have sworn I left this here, or like I could have sworn that table was there, and she's like, I'm just clumsy.
Yeah, that one, it got dark for a second because that lady who's helping her try to find her parents like got impaled by the Christmas tree star. Like, oh God, that's brutal.
It's like Violent Night.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to get like that brutal. So then when they went back and fixed that, I thought that was really nice. Like, okay, good. That poor lady did not deserve that.
They did not go back though and fix Ruby's mom's house. That like,
no, she still has that giant foundation problem.
She's like, how are we supposed to sleep in this room? It's so cold. I have a freaking new infant here, and they're like, peace out, going in the TARDIS.
She's fostering a baby, and now like bye. And then I wonder who that old lady was at the end.
Some people are saying it's Ruby. I don't know if I buy that though, because she was angry and didn't know what the TARDIS was. So clearly something happened when he went back in time to save Ruby from the goblins.
But I don't technically wasn't alive though.
Which if it was Ruby, he could have left her. Could have been like, look at Amy and Rory. The Weeping Angels got them, and basically they died like before they were born.
I don't think. I don't know if I buy that that's her as an old lady.
I don't buy that that's her, but that's the theory going around. Kaylee actually sent me a video recently of a scene that did not get filmed, I guess because the guy who plays Rory's dad wasn't available to do it. But it was a really sweet thing where this guy shows up at Rory's dad's house a week after they left, and he's like watering their plants for them. And the guy is older than Rory's dad, but it's Rory and Amy's son. And he has a letter from Rory explaining, like saying goodbye. And it's so sweet. And I wish they had been able to film that. Yeah. But it is supposedly canon. You hear Rory's voice, the actor's voice, and it's just drawn. And he's like, I know this is weird seeing that your grandson is older than you, but I guess they actually adopted a son. My only issue is they didn't mention River. I don't know if maybe that's in a different thing, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's cool. Huh. But yeah, I'm not buying that that's Ruby, because then why would he also leave her to be an old lady at that present time period then?
I don't know. Maybe that will come into play when we find out who Ruby's parents are.
They're clearly going to do something with this lady. Like, she knew it was a TARDIS, so there's got to be more to at play, right?
But it's also interesting that okay, have you done like the ancestry.com or you and me 23, whatever the hell it is? So you spit into this tiny little vial, and the amount of relatives I had come up was insane. And they're going to take her DNA and find nobody. I'm not buying that at all. So is she alien? Is she actually from centuries ago and the DNA just isn't there anymore to match? I don't really know how DNA works, obviously. I don't either. But how could they not find anybody at all? That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't at all. It's interesting. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess we'll find out, because Doctor Who will return on Disney Plus in May of 2024, which I'm really excited that they're going to be airing it on Disney Plus. That's something that's like, thank God. I'm glad they did it with these, which
it's been a pain in the ass to try and find it or pay for it.
Yeah. Like it comes
I own various episodes of Doctor Who.
Well, yeah, it comes out way later. You know, I used to have to wait for it to come on like Prime or something like that. Way after the actual show premiered, and you couldn't watch it, and it was all jacked up. So I'm glad that I think that I'm going to be really invested in this upcoming season, because I think Ruby and Ncuti work really well together. They gave me a lot to be excited for. His energy, her energy, they both excellent characters.
Get off each other well, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one that I'm following along. So we'll probably have some more Doctor Who episodes sprinkled throughout this actual spring coming up.
Did you ever watch Torchwood?
I didn't, no.
That one was, I think, more adult.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it has John Barrowman.
I just never got to it.
They should bring John Barrowman back for every Doctor. Oh my God, he would love Ncuti.
I think he had some allegations, so I don't know how that's going to happen.
I heard that was old, though, and that it was like, I heard he just flashed some people on set like 10 years ago. I'm going to be honest with you. I really can't keep up with all these actors and actresses with allegations. It's kind of out of hand. It wasn't, I don't think it was any... From what I have read, it was that he flashed people on set and they were like not cool with it. But it was a long time ago. Yeah, I don't know. But he was in Doctor Who after that happened. Huh. Man, I don't know. I agree with you. I thought that he was really cool. So it'd be cool, nice to see like another one-off maybe of him or something like that. Since we're bringing back old people.
But yeah, that's our Doctor Who episode. Next week, we are going to be doing the comic book origin of Echo to get you ready for the TV show premiering on Disney Plus January 9th. And then, not to mention, we are also going to be doing Supernatural Season 7 wrap up, and we might have a special guest joining us soon for Season 8 who might have worked on the show. Just a little hint, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. We will see you guys next week. Cheers.
Lonzy.